Okay, this is a video on section 7.9 of the building up principle. The building up principle is also known as the Aufbau. Whoops, I hate when it does that. Aufbau. B-A-U. Aufbau, which generally means building up. So, what we have here, my friends, is a representation of the periodic table as it corresponds to electron configuration, in particularly the filling up of the outermost subshell for a particular element. We can see that as we start with hydrogen on the left and go across the periodic table really basically follows the Aufbau. So as we go from hydrogen to helium, we're filling the 1s. After the 1s is filled, then we start filling the 2s. And as we go across, after the 2s is filled, we fill the 2p. After the 2p's are filled, we go across, we fill the 3s, and then the 3p. And as we continue to go across, we're in the fourth period now, we're starting to fill the 4s. But of course, as you know, 3d is actually higher in energy than 4p. 3d is lower in energy than 4p, but higher in energy than 4s. So after the 4s fills, then we begin to fill the 3d. And after the 3d's are filled, we begin the 4p, and so on and so forth throughout the periodic table. So effectively what we have is known as these elements right here are what are known as the s block, because they're filling s orbitals. In fact, the s orbitals that they fill we're going to call ns, where n is the principal quantum number associated with whatever period they're in. These guys here are the elements in the p block. Okay, they're filling ns and p, where again n corresponds to the principal quantum number that they're filling, and again, like the s block, it equates to the period number. So if this is the third period, these guys are filling the 3s, and these guys are filling the 3p. Now, when we get to here, we have the D block. These guys are filling the D's. The D's that they're filling are not of the same principal energy level as the period, but the n minus 1 principal energy level. So if we're in the fourth period here, we're filling the 4s here, we're filling the 4p here, but these guys here, these transition metals in the middle, are filling the 3d. So they fill the 3d. And you can see that it's the energy level is of the period before, or n minus 1. And finally, at the bottom, where we have the rare earth metals, we see that they're filling the F. And the F orbitals that they're filling are actually of n minus 2 F. Because technically, this row right here is actually part of the sixth period. So we start at the sixth period, we go down, we go across this row, then we come back up and fill the D's and then the P's. And the next row, which is filling the 5F, is actually part of the seventh period. So we go across, and we go down, we go across and fill the F's, then come back up and we fill the D's as such. So this first series, the lanthanide series, this row going across, is actually part of the 6th period. And the actinide series here going across, where it's filling 5F, the second row, is actually part of the 7th period. So we can see that the electron configurations follow the periodic table, or the other way around. The periodic table is literally based or set up based upon the electron configurations. It turns out that that's not the reason why the periodic table was set up the way it is. It turns out that it ends up being a result. So the way that the periodic table is arranged is a result, in the end, of how the electron configurations of the elements are. In other words, the Aufbau, the filling up. All right, so I'm going to make this one short because I need to switch to a different slide. So this is going to be a short video, but we are going to continue with this 7.9. So we're not done with 7.9 yet. So we'll stop, and you can watch this and go back and review it if you need to. Take a look at this, and when you're ready, move on to the next video.